Revelation 1 presents a powerful sanctuary vision in which Yahusha appears as the true and greater high priest, fulfilling everything the Old Covenant tabernacle symbolized. The book begins as an unveiling or a manifestation of Yahusha Messiah, which is given to John so that it can be passed on to the Assemblies. And this was written roughly 40 years after the events of Acts, as a final revelation of what will soon take place. The message emphasizes that hearing the prophecy is not enough. It must be guarded. This word must be guarded and behaved and walked on actively. This revelation begins with imagery traditionally used for the Almighty El Shaddai, Yahuah, who is and who was and who is coming. Yet the chapter begins shifting. You see the imagery starting to shift focus from the worship from Yahuah to the worship of Yahusha, who's the trustworthy witness, the firstborn from the dead, and a ruler of the kings of the earth. A unique new creation who is both divine and human. Through his deliverance, he has made believers a kingdom of priests, whose task is to maintain the living presence of Elohim, which is now functioning as a spiritual sanctuary within them. So you're the temple, I'm the temple. That function of his spirit, the portal, needs to be tended to in us. John sees the glorified Yahusha standing among 7 golden lampstands, or menorahs, and this evokes the imagery of the tabernacle, described as the Son of Man. That's who he's described as, the Son of Man, which is first seen by Daniel and Ezekiel. They explained all this. They saw the divine human Messiah, an Alahim man. Well, John sees him wearing priestly robes and radiating this overwhelming, powerful perfection. His white hair symbolized purity and wisdom, eyes like fire searching every heart, feet like burnished brass representing judgment, and a voice like many waters carrying eternal authority. In his hand he holds 7 stars, which are the messengers of the Assemblies, while a sharp 2-edged sword, which is the living word, which is him, proceeds from his mouth, in order to judge, divide, wound, and heal. His face shines like the sun in full strength, revealing the blazing esteem of the one who completed the journey from heavenly throne to flesh and suffering, then to resurrection and ascension as the Lamb on the throne. Overwhelmed by this revelation, John falls as though dead. Yet Yahusha touches him and declares himself the first and the last, the living one who died and now lives forever, holding the keys of death and destruction. John is then commanded to write what he has seen. Write it all down for the Assemblies, explaining that the 7 lampstands represent those Assemblies, and the 7 stars are their human messengers or their shepherds or leaders who must receive correction and guidance. So the chapter ultimately reveals a sanctuary shift. That's what Revelation 1 is, just setting the scene. It's changing, it's shifting the sanctuary. Yahusha now fulfills and embodies everything the old sanctuary pointed towards, the old covenant, the old priesthood, everything. It's all in Yahusha. He's standing there among, ministering directly to his Assemblies. And he's the victorious, glorified Elohim, who completed the path of deliverance and now reigns in majestic splendor. But what they don't tell you is this. When John looked over his shoulder in Revelation 1 and saw who was there, who did he see? Yahuah? No, Yahuah's got no form. He's invisible, dwells in unapproachable light. And of course not. He saw an image. John saw an image, and he understood by the way the image looked just who it was, didn't he? He could see that Yahusha was Elohim. And that was just amazing. Imagine that. In Old Covenant times, you weren't allowed to bow down and worship an image of Yahuah, remember? They were punished severely for doing this. But we know that he came in the flesh as the Son of Man. Yahuah, the mighty El Shaddai, who is, who was, and who is to come, He revealed himself as Yahusha in the flesh, a new first fruit creature, creation. He's new. So then, of course, now we can worship him. We can have an image to worship. We can actually know who to worship in this confused world. We have the image because Yahusha gave us the image. He puts forth his true image here, right here in Revelation 1. All those visions are built upon this. You can put it all together and see, wow, who you are, Yahusha. Why wasn't Yahuah content having an image in the old times? Because he knew his plan, didn't he? He knew exactly what he needed to do. He knew that his first wife, Israel, was going to continue in her wicked, hoary ways, even to this day. And he knew that he had to get rid of her. So he knew he had to leave his throne and transform and become Yahusha in the flesh to redeem his bride. So, what do you think today of everyone who wants to put Yahusha back into that box and tell us that he went back to heaven and gave the glory back to Yahuah? Meaning we have to go back also and have nothing and no one to worship again. We'd have to go back to the shadows again, wouldn't we? That's their plan. Take us back to the shadows. Can you see how ridiculous that is? Why would he come in the flesh? I mean, he kept saying, don't worship me. And of course, worship the Father. But obviously he spent his whole time, his whole life healing people, delivering people. He died on a torture stake. Why would he then go back to being Yahuah? He's in the most supreme form. He's an Alahim man. He's a spirit and flesh divine man. Why would he go back to being just dwelling in an unapproachable light? He is Alahim, the Son of Man. He's Yahusha, the Lamb on the throne. He finished his journey from the throne to the earth, died, resurrected, ascended, the Lamb freshly slain. He takes the scroll. He's on the throne. He's seen in the midst of the throne. Check out the imagery. Dissect the imagery. Open your heart. Listen to his spirit. The scriptures are abstractly discerned. Can you see that it's Yahusha that we pray to, that we communicate to? It's Yahusha who's within us. We don't pray to the Father Yahuah in the name of Yahusha. No, we're not into this duality of being, not into this Trinity. No, we're not into that. Alahim can only be one. And you can dissect the word one all you like, but Alahim is one, and it is Yahusha who we worship now. Yahusha is Alahim, the Lamb on the throne, and it's all right there, decoded in the imagery of Revelation 1. Isn't that mind-blowing? Open your eyes, brothers and sisters, and see who it is that's talking to you, who it is that's opened this portal on your heart for your deliverance so you can go into the throne room. Come boldly, he says. I am the first and the last, the beginning and the end, the Aleph and the Tor. It is Yahusha, our Messiah, our deliverer, our Alahim.